Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we uncover the secrets hidden in plain sight within company filings. Get ready because Vail Resorts' latest filing is packed with more ups and downs than a double black diamond run, and we're going to decode it all. Before we dive in, if you appreciate getting straight tactical insights from these massive corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. Also, join our growing community on Discord. The link is in the description below where we break down even more of these filings. Alright, let's get into it. Vail Resorts, the ski giant, has dropped its annual report, and it is a pretty thick one, but don't worry, we were going to cut through the jargon and get to the heart of what it all means for the company and its fans. First up, they've broken down their business into three main parts: the mountain, which is where all the skiing happens, lodging for places to stay, and real estate. And surprise, surprise, the mountain segment pulls in the lion. A share of their money, making up about 89% of their total revenue for the fiscal year ending in 2025. Lodging brings in about 11%, and real estate is pretty much a rounding error at 0%. Seems like their whole empire is built on getting you on the slopes. Let's talk numbers, because that is where the real story unfolds for the mountain segment. Their reported EBITDA, which is basically their operating profit for that part of the business, went up by $19.3 million. That is a 2.4% bump, and the main reason: they raised the prices on their ski passes for the 2024 to 2025 season. Smart move. They also mentioned better snow conditions this year compared to last year, especially in the eastern United States and early season in the west. This meant more people hitting the slopes, which is good for ticket sales and also for things like ski school and dining. But hold on, it wasn't tea all sunshine and powder. Their Australian operations took a hit with weather problems, and they also had some one-time costs, including money spent on a big efficiency plan and costs related to a CEO transition. So while prices are up, there are still expenses chipping away. Digging deeper into the mountain segment, lift ticket revenue, which includes a lot of those pass products, saw a nice jump of $60.4 million. That is up 4.2%. Again, this is heavily thanks to those price increases on their passes. Non-pass revenue also went up, meaning people who did T-buy a season pass were also spending more. This suggests that maybe the overall trip to the resort is costing more for everyone, not just pass holders. Now, for a bit of a wobble in their otherwise strong performance, retail and rental revenue took a tumble, down $14.7 million or 4.6%. That is mainly because on-mountain shops saw lower sales, likely due to fewer skiers visiting. This makes sense. If fewer people are on the mountain, they are less likely to buy souvenirs or rent gear. This is a subtle hint that while overall revenue might be up, the number of actual visitors, at least for shopping, might be down. It's a subtle but important distinction. Shifting gears to the lodging segment, it is a story of very little change, which in this business climate is almost a good thing. Total lodging revenue, after you take out some specific reimbursements that don't really affect their profit, was pretty much flat for the fiscal year ending in 2025. It was $319.7 million compared to $319.8 million last year, and $323.1 million the year before that. Interestingly, while their owned hotels saw a 5% revenue increase, the managed condominium rooms actually saw a drop. This might mean they're re-losing some of those management contracts, or that those properties are seeing less demand, which could be concerning. And then there is the real estate segment. This part of the business had a really wild swing. After losing money for a couple of years, it suddenly turned a profit of $18.6 million in 2025. This big change came from selling some land, including a $16.5 million gain from a dispute resolution with the town of Vail, and another $8.5 million from selling some land in Breckenridge. So, while the core business is skiing and lodging, it looks like they are also making some strategic moves to cash in on their land holdings, which can be a nice bonus when it happens. Now, let's talk about debt. Vail Resorts has a significant amount of debt, and they are very upfront about it. As of July 2025, they owed about $3.2 billion. This is a pretty big number, and they openly state that this debt could make it harder for them to operate smoothly, especially if the economy takes a downturn. They have a lot of payments due, including some big ones in the coming years, like their 0.0% convertible notes maturing in 2026. While they have access to credit lines, this level of debt always carries a risk, especially in a high interest rate environment. It means a big chunk of their cash flow has to go towards paying off loans instead of reinvesting in the business or paying dividends, which could slow down their growth. It is not all big debt figures and financials though. They also touch on employee matters. For instance, they got a retirement plan, and the company's contributions to it are pretty steady, around $10 to $11 million each year. This shows a commitment to their employees' long-term financial well being though it is a relatively small number compared to their overall expenses. Now for the risks, Vail Resorts lays out a whole laundry list of things that could go wrong, and frankly, many of them are pretty standard for companies in the travel and leisure industry. They're worried about the economy tanking, which would mean fewer people have the money or desire to travel for ski vacations. They're also concerned about weather, which is a no-brainer for a ski company. Climate change is a big one, with the potential for less snow and warmer winters. Plus, they're worried about things like terrorism, global conflicts, and even pandemics, all of which can slam the brakes on travel. And let's not forget cyber attacks, which are a constant headache for any company that handles a lot of data, like their customer information. Basically, they're saying a lot of things outside of their control could mess with their business. Let's look at the big picture numbers from their financial tables. In the mountain segment, revenue was over $2.6 billion for 2025, a nice increase from the previous year. Lodging revenue was around $334 million, pretty stable. And then real estate, looking at the total net revenue line, it is a drastically smaller number now, a huge drop from over $4 million last year to just $435,000 this year. This confirms what we saw earlier, that their focus is heavily on the mountain and lodging. And here is a key takeaway number for the whole company. Total reported EBITDA hit $862.8 million in 2025. That is up from $826.6 million in 2024, a solid increase. This metric, which essentially measures their operating profit before certain expenses like interest, taxes, and depreciation, shows they're remaking more money from their core operations. It is a good sign that despite some of the cost increases and the dip in retail sales, the main engine of the business is firing on all cylinders. So, what is my take on Vail Resorts? Latest report, well, they're definitely managing the core of their business well, especially with those past price increases driving up mountain revenue. They're also showing they can make money selling off land, which is a nice bonus. However, the big elephant in the room is their debt. $3.2 billion is a hefty sum, and it means they're always walking a tightrope, especially with rising interest rates. If the economy falters, this debt load could become a serious problem. Also, the drop in retail sales is a subtle warning sign that maybe fewer people are actually on the mountain spending extra cash, even if ticket revenue is up. Their international expansion is a big play, but it also comes with the risk of currency fluctuations and navigating different legal and economic landscapes. Overall, Vail Resorts is a strong company with a dominant position in its market, but it is also carrying a lot of financial weight that needs careful management. That's our dive deep into Vail Resorts' latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. And don't forget to check out the Discord in the description, where we discuss all things corporate finance. Thanks for watching, see you next time.